Hi, this is Dave Stevens again from MobileSense Technologies, and I'm here to brief you on two new screens that you will find very useful as you navigate your invoice information, and particularly as you look at data consumption on the part of your employees. The first one is under the dashboard. So we are currently on the landing page when you log into MobileSentry, which is called the Invoice Summary Report. There is now a new dashboard available to you called Cost Containment. When you come into the Cost Containment, you will see that each of the usage metrics, data, voice, and messaging, is displayed based on how much is consumed by the top given percent of users. So the red indicates the top 5% of the users, in this case, consumed 33.6 gigabytes, the next 5%, and so on by the color code. And at the bottom, you'll see how many devices make up those top percentages. This is a fairly small sample, but you can see that for voice and messaging as well. Over here, then you can see those devices that are making up, in this case, the top 5% of data usage. If you wanted to see who the top 5% were in terms of voice, it would change by picking voice or messaging. You can look at international usage. Let's go back to data usage, and let's increase this a little bit to 20% so we can see a number of different devices. By placing your cursor over this, you'll see an individual's name, and by clicking on that link, it'll take you down to the same drill down capabilities that exist within the other reports, where you can see an individual's total invoice. And in this case, we were coming from the data usage, so it jumped right to the data usage tab. You can see the days of the month when the data was used. You can see the quantity in any given day. You can see it broken out by what we'd call off-peak versus peak data usage time. You can pick a day, such as the 28th, when all that data occurred, and see the usage throughout the day. All of that's very helpful to get to in one quick click, coming from a very quick assessment of your top users. If you place the cursor over here, you're going to see exactly how many gigabytes those top users consume. And one other helpful function here is our prorated conversion. If you want to convert that data usage into a dollar amount, we basically take the entire cost of data, divide it by the total data used, and spread it back out in terms of cost per gigabyte to the users, to all users, but in particular, you can see what the cost of that data usage is literally to the company by using this function. Now, the second tab is called Costly Users. This picks your most costly users based on a standard deviation calculation. And they appear here again, where you can click down and see the details. But by putting the cursor over this, you will see how the bills break out. You can, of course, get the more detail with the drill down and clicking on the device link. But you can see quickly that 280 were due to recurring charges. The bulk of these were international charges. And there may also be other charges that show, for example, or domestic overage data charges. So that is the costly user, a quick way to see your most expensive users, not by usage, as the high usage looks at, but by the actual bill. And then finally, there's a usage pattern view, which is like the view we just saw for an individual, but is the aggregated view for the company. You can see how much data is consumed on any given day, broken out by our peak and off-peak characterization. For the purposes of this graph, the off-peak usage is any time between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. on a weekday. You can see the overall ratio for your company of off-peak versus peak usage. So that's the new dashboard called Cost Containment. One more quick screen that will be very helpful to you. It's the management screen. When you click on this screen, you're actually going to see a browser version of the reports that you've been receiving via email. And you will have the ability now to generate your own report by clicking on the export button here, the export button. If you pick the Excel function in Chrome, it will place it down here at the bottom. When I click that and open, I'm now going to see the report that you are otherwise receiving by mail. And it's now all available to you on request by going to, once again, I'm going to get out of this report, going to the Management tab. This is a unique, customized report for you from On Communications, different than the standard reports that you have available to you by clicking on this cascade. So that is the new functionality. Hope you find that helpful. You can always, in the dashboard, click on the tutorial button here for a replay of the functions of the screen if you need that help. Thank you very much.